Hello and welcome back to the VegInspired kitchen. Today we're going to make one of my favorite recipes, and honestly I didn't even know how much I loved these ingredients together until I started eating them. And I don't know about you, if you've ever tried jackfruit, let me know in the comments below. This is a barbecue jackfruit. We're going to make our own barbecue sauce, oil-free, refined sugar-free. I mean, it's going to be amazing and it's going to taste awesome. And you can use this barbecue jackfruit in anything. You can use it in sandwiches, you can use it in tacos, you can use it to make like a barbecue nachos. I mean, you can just use it for anything. It's so versatile, it's so tasty, and you can even warm it up in a crock pot, meaning it's great for those Super Bowl parties, those potlucks, those picnics, anything where you want to take a dish but you don't want to have to be responsible for heating it up at the time. You can just plug in your crock pot, put a little more extra water in it, and just let it go on low and keep warm, and it'll be nice and warm for your use later. So let's start by making our barbecue sauce. Again, it's oil-free and refined sugar-free. We're going to use our Vitamix to make the barbecue sauce, and we're going to start with 1 8-ounce can of just regular old tomato sauce. Then we're going to put in 3 pitted dates. Even if you buy your dates, always open them up and just make sure they're nice and clean inside and that there's no remnants of the pit. You just certainly don't want to try and blend the pit of a date. So we'll put those in there. Then we'll add 1/4 of a cup of apple cider vinegar. Two tablespoons of whole grain mustard. 1.5 teaspoons of onion powder. 1.5 teaspoons of smoked paprika and 1/8 teaspoon of cayenne pepper. And then for a little trick, right? We're always about the pro tips. We're always about the tricks. To measure our molasses. So this recipe that I'm doing is coming out of the 30-minute whole food plant-based cookbook. To measure the 3 tablespoons of black strap molasses, we're actually going to weigh it. And we're looking for about 60 grams of blackstrap molasses. Now I like to weigh it. This is a pro tip that John taught me because then I don't have to dirty anything and try and get this goopy stuff out. Now our molasses is nice and fresh, so it does move faster than molasses. What you would expect molasses to move. So again, we're looking at about 3 tablespoons, which like I said is about 60 grams. Now, I don't have a dirty utensil. It's not, there's no sticky stuff anywhere. It's really easy. I do use the cookie scooper for the mustard. That just seems to come out of the cookie scoop much easier than the molasses. And then we'll buzz this up for about 30 seconds on the high setting of our Vitamix. A nice thick barbecue sauce. It's really delicious. I'm gonna put it in the same pan that we're going to cook the jackfruit in. Now for our jackfruit. Now if you've never tried jackfruit, it comes canned, and you can also buy it fresh and you can also buy it frozen. But you specifically use canned for these savory dishes because it's the young jackfruit. It's not ripe jackfruit. Ripe jackfruit is more of a fruity taste. I've actually never had ripe jackfruit, but they say it kind of tastes like juicy fruit gum. This jackfruit hasn't developed that sweetness. So it's typically sold in a can like this for the young, like it says organic young jackfruit. And this one has, gotta find the ingredients. Young jackfruit, organic young jackfruit, water, sea salt, and organic lime juice. Now, when I make my jackfruit, I do a very thorough rinse. And so what I'm gonna show you today is how I both rinse it and then shred it before I even start cooking it. There's lots of other ways that you can do it. This is just the way that we prefer. So your jackfruit comes in the can and they're in big chunks like this. So I'm just gonna drain it into my colander. And then what I do is I pull it apart, I squeeze it out. You might get some big seeds like this, you just kind of pop them. What you're trying to do is break that down, the jackfruit, into like shredded pieces. So this will come right apart. You can see it turns into these nice shreds. Now I cook all the jackfruit. I even cook these tougher pieces that you kind of have to push, push together to really pull them apart. I cook it all. Some people remove the thick pieces. I don't. It cooks down in the sauce and it's fine. So you'll notice I haven't done much rinsing. I like to shred it first and then rinse it. So I'm just breaking apart all of these chunks of jackfruit that came in the can with my hands. I've never done it with a fork or anything like that. I've always just done it with my hands. Just kind of squeezing it, breaking it apart. Now I've yet to find a salt-free jackfruit, so again, that's one of the reasons why I do an extra rinse, just to help reduce some of the excess salt from the canned jackfruit. It is, like they say, it's sold in basically a brine. Like this piece is really tough, so you want to really break it down. Now often you can find these sometimes at your local grocery store, depending, sometimes at Whole Foods, sometimes at your local ethnic market, maybe the Oriental or the Asian markets. We ordered this from Amazon in a six cans. So I can put a link in the description below for that off of Amazon, if that's helpful. We know we like it, so ordering 6 cans is no big deal. And this recipe calls for 2 cans. Yeah, some pieces are really easy to shred and other pieces are tougher, so you just want to try and not lose the seeds like I just did. They pop right out. Oh my gosh, that popped right over onto the floor. So now I'm going to rinse it under cold water. Transfer my jackfruit to my saucepan with the barbecue sauce that we just made. Again, it's a full batch of barbecue sauce and 2 cans of jackfruit that have been shredded and rinsed. Just gonna stir the jackfruit and barbecue sauce together. So we're just gonna heat the jackfruit and the barbecue sauce up over about a medium heat. Medium lowish. Just don't want to scorch the barbecue sauce. Once it starts to pop a little bit, we're going to reduce the heat to about medium low and then simmer it for about 15 minutes. Covered. Okay, once it's simmered for about 15 minutes, you're gonna open it up and you're going to see what the texture is. So you can see that mine has these little pockets of water, some liquid. Now what I want to do, I want to cook it down and not have it so juicy. So I'm going to remove the lid and I'm going to cook it for about 5 to 10 minutes over medium-low heat again to cook off some of that extra liquid and get it to that sticky texture that I'm really looking for. If you are going to reheat this, don't do this step. So if you are going to cook this up today and then take it to a picnic later today or tomorrow, you're going to want to let this part of it happen while you're reheating it in your slow cooker or your crock pot or something, or on the stove top at somebody else's house or at your house if you're doing a party. If you are going to use it in tacos or a sandwich, it's up to you the texture that you get. I prefer mine to be a little bit drier, a little bit more, a little bit drier, and then whatever toppings you're going to put on it. Now, as I mentioned earlier in the intro, you can use this for anything. You could take, if you're oil-free and don't use tortilla chips, you could make your own tortilla chips with corn tortillas, or you could take baked tostadas or a baked oil-free chip and you could lay that on a sheet pan. You could put on your jackfruit. You could add a vegan cheesy sauce, and then you could bake that and make nachos with it. That's a really great use for this and perfect for the upcoming Super Bowl parties, or, you know, great for backyard picnics. You can also make this into tacos. So we do this a lot, or not a lot, but we do this where we cook up the jackfruit like this and then we make our own corn tortillas, but you can buy them as well, and we serve them the barbecue jackfruit with some coleslaw mix, so the shredded cabbage and carrots, cilantro, onion. That's great. You can put a little avocado on it to give it a little creaminess. You could make a creamy slaw if you wanted to do maybe like a ranch slaw or a crema, you know, mixing your slaw with a little bit of cashew cream. You can serve this right up like it is in the cookbook. In the 30-minute whole food plant-based cookbook, we actually make barbecue jackfruit sandwiches with this, and we serve it on a whole grain bun, either Ezekiel or Dave's Killer Buns. You can also use the Ezekiel English muffins if you can't find one and you're trying to be whole food plant-based. And then what we do is we do a quick pickling coleslaw. So we take coleslaw, we mix it with a little seasoned rice vinegar, and then we pile this, we get it real nice and dry, so we cook it for a good 10 minutes with the lid off to kind of dry this out a little. And I like to stir it occasionally just so it doesn't burn. And then to our sandwich we add the jackfruit, the slaw mix, and then pickles. That's one of my favorite ways to eat this. You could make some kind of barbecue jackfruit dip. Like, I'm thinking you could do barbecue jackfruit with a layer of queso or some kind of vegan cheese, and then maybe just like with the nachos, but like dip the tostadas in it instead of doing the full nachos. You could make sliders. So Dave's Killer Buns does make slider buns. You can make your own slider buns. You could eat this on pita bread. So instead of a tortilla, you could eat it on like a whole grain pita that you can get. You could eat it on a sourdough toast. You could do open face jackfruit sandwiches and maybe put like a drizzle of, I'm thinking like maybe vegan ranch. You could make vegan mac and cheese or plant-based mac and cheese and do a dollop of the barbecue jackfruit on that and make like a barbecue mac. Like, the possibilities of this are endless. So if you're ever scrolling and you get this inspiration for barbecue and you're like, what can I use? Come back, use this barbecue jackfruit, because it is so versatile and will really help you kind of elevate your cooking with very simple ingredients, right? Everything that I put in the barbecue sauce, you probably have at home, right? I didn't have to buy anything for that recipe because everything I already have in my house. The jackfruit, I mean, that was really easy. Once you got it drained and rinsed, you just throw it in with barbecue sauce. If you have a barbecue sauce that you love, it's about 1.5 cups to 2 cups of barbecue sauce that we start with, and so you can you could always throw your own barbecue sauce in here, and then you eliminate even making your barbecue sauce. What I really like about our barbecue sauce is that it is refined sugar-free. The only real sweeteners in it are the molasses and the dates. You could use date syrup in place of molasses. It won't have as deep of a flavor. But I just think it's one of those recipes that's fun, that adds some flair, that's different from maybe what you're eating, I was just thinking just now as we're talking, you could do French fries and do barbecue French fries, like a loaded French fry bowl. You could do a bunch of potatoes and put your jackfruit on it and then maybe a cheesy sauce. I mean, like I said, the options of using this are endless. You could make it into a sandwich. I mean, it's just really fun. And I mean sandwich, I mean like on bread, not on a roll. So yeah, so then I cook it down for, like I said, 5 to 10 minutes to kind of get the excess water out, and then I use it. Then I put it to use. Like I said, tacos, we're gonna do tacos with it. You could do barbecue jackfruit sandwiches. You could just do all sorts of things. So I wanna give it a taste test, but I do wanna get it to its texture. So once it's done kind of cooking down, you have this beautiful, very fragrant, shredded jackfruit. Like I said, there are some of those bigger chunks. You can cut those down or shred them even more. If you are reheating it, you may add a little bit of water to it to kind of thin it out so that as it reheats, it cooks down additionally. But I'm gonna give it a quick taste test. So it's like this perfect barbecue-y pulled pork. The barbecue sauce is so rich and delicious, and it really holds to the jackfruit really nicely. The texture, like I said, is just like pulled pork from back in the day, without any of the high fat or any of the cholesterol or any of the innocent animals having to be made into food. So this is a wonderful jackfruit option. Let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know if it's something you've made. Have you tried jackfruit before? I'd love to know. If you didn't love it the first time, I'd love to hear if you go ahead and get those young jackfruit cans and really do a great job of rinsing it and cooking it up with this barbecue sauce. Let me give it a taste. It's so good, and what I love about the barbecue sauce is that tiny hint of cayenne and that smoked paprika really shine through and give your barbecue sauce like this nice smoky, rich flavor. The molasses adds a depthness, and I don't know, I just think it's amazing. So hopefully you love this video. Give it a thumbs up. Let me know if you're gonna try it. And now let's make some tacos. We're gonna take that barbecue jackfruit and we're gonna load it in these tasty homemade corn tortillas. And on top of that barbecue jackfruit, I'm going to add a simple coleslaw mix that came right from the grocery store. I did not have to do anything to it. I bought it, bagged coleslaw mix. It makes it so easy. You can add a little lime juice if you want an extra flavor, or you can add a little seasoned vinegar. I like to do lime juice. It makes it, you can see it's a little glossy. It kind of sweetens it up. Then we're gonna add some white onions that we've diced and then rinsed. This gives them a nice flavor, adds a nice flair. To that, we're going to add a little bit of cilantro. If you don't like cilantro, you can leave it out. I love cilantro, so the more, the merrier. And then the last topping to these tacos is going to be some fresh avocado. You could do guacamole. You could make a guacamole crema or a sour cream or sour crema. I like just the fresh avocado right on top. And then you are going to enjoy these tasty, tasty jackfruit tacos. And I will see you in our next video. Bye!